The FMS Rafale 64mm is one of the best budget-friendly jets out there, and being inexpensive doesn't mean that it sucks either. It's not the great value of RC jets that you might find at Walmart. It's got plenty of thrust and a wide flight envelope from speedy flight to slow-controlled high-alpha passes, and it's almost stable enough to be a beginner's jet. But I want to hop into some downsides and fixes that I've discovered over the past year of owning it before moving on to how awesome it is, because it's been a year and it's time for us to go over it with a one-year review. No matter how good you land, the gears suck. They lack suspension, so the plane is constantly vibrating on the ground, and they sound
like a dumpster rolling down 5 flights of stairs.
Unless you have the smoothest pavement in the world. You can replace the wheels, but you shouldn't have to. Take them off. The jet is way better without them due to the reduced drag. Get used to hand launching and grass landing, or just grab it out of the air like we do.
Get out of here!
Because the gear are so stiff, they rattle the plastic clip that holds the wheel strut to the wing. The clip will eventually fail on grass or pavement, even with gentle landings. It doesn't matter how good they are.
Oh, so close. So close.
You can try to reinforce it with glue, but there's not much you can do about it aside from avoiding grass flying. You might not encounter it if you fly off brand new pavement, but let's be real here. How many people actually fly off brand new pavement? Like most 64mm jets, the wheels are an afterthought. We feel you're better off flying without them. Fortunately, it does really well landing on grass with no wheels. If you fly a shallow approach, cut throttle, and pull the elevator back to settle it in, it's real easy and doesn't damage the jet. If you're really worried about it, cover the belly with gray electrical tape where scuffs start to appear. Easy fix and cheap too. Another downside to consider is that the jet gets locked into high alpha if you move the center of gravity back. Even at the rear end of FMS's suggested CG range is enough to start causing it. We originally thought that it was related to the thrust line, and what it actually turns out to be is the fixed canards. As the center of gravity shifts further back, the neutral canard position actually pushes the nose up, the slower the jet flies. The fix for this? Either you don't run an aggressive center of gravity, or you do what we did and you point the canards down. This is best done before gluing them in place. You can point them down as far as they'll physically fit in the cavity on the fuselage. This also provides an additional benefit. The canards will still see a positive angle of attack, which will cause them to operate as flow regulators over the wing. The less nerdy explanation is that they keep the jet from stalling as quickly. Look at how it got stuck in high alpha with neutral canards versus how controllable it was even with a more rearward center of gravity with the canards pointed down. You'll have to give it some up elevator trim to compensate, but it really flies so much better like this. Oh, and it kinda goes without saying that you'll want to increase gyro gains significantly if you run it this way. It's a lot harder to fly without the gyro keeping it stabilized. Those are the major downsides of Rafale, but even the downsides have workarounds. And the upsides are that it's a high alpha monster, it's super stable, and it flies really well even on a nose heavier setup, making it a decent option for a beginner to jets to begin flying.
You gotta give me some nice overhead brakes so I can focus in on that ass.
If you want to pimp it out, there's even an Afterburner option from 5280RC too, if you want to give it that extra touch to make it look like a bigger jet in the sky. Note that this will be the last video where we recommend 5280 because we're moving on to KMRC Afterburners as a sponsor. Larry's been great and we hope that he continues doing well in the future.
Oh, this is such a good view.
You can pick up this sweet Outrunner Afterburner kit from 5280rc.com via the link in the description. It's super easy to install too, and if you're like me, that extra weight in the tail gives you even more of an aft CG, which is crucial to getting the most out of this jet. If you want the most out of this jet, you're definitely going to want to consider moving away from the pre-installed reflex gyro and consider using AS3X with high relative gains. If you tie them to the throttle like I do, you can reduce the gains as you increase throttle, making it stable no matter what speed you're flying. And it also eliminates gyro oscillation completely. With the canards pointed down, you also unlock additional maneuverability and stability. A beautiful trade-off for just a little bit of work. The canard mod even makes it easier to fly inverted high alpha with some serious angle of attack. The canards still provide flow regulation while inverted, and they add just enough extra pitch moment to keep it locked in. The canard mod doesn't have to be performed to fly well, and a lot of the flying that you're seeing right now is on the total stock setup, but it does fly better when the canards are optimized to provide uninterrupted airflow over the wing. Otherwise, there's not much point to having them, and as you saw earlier, going aft on the CG can cause some nasty things to happen. You may also want to consider the canard mod to improve the stall characteristics, because the canards will keep airflow over the wings when the stock setup would not, so the usual stall behavior with the canard mod is to drop the nose gently, though sometimes it might still drop a wing, but you significantly increase the chances of a nose drop versus a wing drop with this mod.
Ooh, that was a little more aggressive that time.
Yeah.
1 year later, this is still one of the best damned jets at this price point. It's so much pure enjoyable fun that it's hard to tell you to consider passing it up. This will probably be one of the last times you ever see it on the channel though, so we're going to go ahead and give it a 1 year review score, which is 8.5 out of 10. The original score was 10 out of 10, long before seeing how the jet performs with some minor mods and dealing with a year's worth of the dumpster rolling down 5 flights of stairs that FMS calls wheels. The jet is beautiful at this scale with plenty of fine details, and it isn't hard to fly. You actually have to work pretty hard to crash it if you even have basic airmanship skills. This is why I recommend this jet, because it's fun, but also because it can be used to help you inexpensively train to fly bigger jets. Because it does have similar flying characteristics as the 80mm Rafale, you could learn to fly it and other bigger Delta jets. Or you could just fly it because it's fun and unbelievably good for a 64mm jet. It's super common for jets of this class to be so nose heavy and boring that I would just pass on even considering to try them out. But this one is something special. What it really needs now is full span elevons to make it even more responsive in the sky. I've got a set of spare wings that I might end up using to mod them in with. Let us know what you think about these longer term reviews in the comments, and maybe consider hopping into Discord to chat with us about it. If you like what you see, pick up your own Rafale 64mm from fmshobby.com using the link in the description, and you can save 10% off your first order with the code referral TwoBrosRC, or use the code TwoBrosRC for $10 off any order of $100 or more anytime you want to buy something. Thanks for watching, and be sure to post your best high alpha passes with this jet on our Discord server.